Hello, my name is David Boone. I'm a junior business enterprise management major here at Wake Forest in the business school. My experience at the leadership conference at the Naval Academy was absolutely extraordinary. I'm very thankful for that opportunity. There's a few major themes I want to touch on today that we learned at the conference. And the first thing is when you're dealing with a lot of leaders, one sensitive subject to talk about is failure. But failure was a common subject in all of the talks. So there's a few points I'd like to bring up about failure. One thing we constantly heard was to fail often, fail fast, but fail falling forward, which just means that failures are going to happen no matter what situation you're in. So it's important just to recognize your failures, own up to your mistakes, and either analyze it and fix it or just move forward because there's nothing you can do about it. So it's really important to not get bogged down by your failures, but rather use it as motivation to keep moving forward. Another point we talked about is being humble. As leaders, we have a lot of people look up to us, and a lot of times we're in positions that have a lot of responsibility, but we also need to remind ourselves to be really humble and thankful for the positions that we're in and our ability to help lead other people. Another really important topic we talked about was character. Character building is huge in terms of leadership. Your character determines your everyday decisions. It's your integrity. It's your trust level. One of the generals mentioned that competency plus character is equals a person that he trusts. So it's really important to be brilliant at the basics, know your skills, know what you know and don't know, and also have that level of trust and integrity inside your character. And that is a person that these renowned leaders would like to work with. So that's really important to take away. Another cool concept I learned from a guy named Rear Admiral Del Buell was a pyramid concept. So it was in terms of leadership. So the higher you go up in a pyramid in terms of leadership, the higher position you get, you need to flip the pyramid upside down, and then you need to view it from you're the bottom and everyone above you is who you work for. It's not the other way around. They don't work for you. If you view it like that with the servant leadership mindset, with the mindset to be as a service to everyone else, that's all you are as a leader, is you're helping serve everyone else. It really puts a new perspective on how you lead others. And that also goes along with the humbleness that I talked about earlier. But I'd like to thank everyone at Wake Forest for this opportunity. I can't wait to share it in the clubs I'm involved with. I'm also an RA on our first year communities, so I'd love to share that and treat my community as a team, and especially emphasize the relationships with each one of those people. That was another big point at the conference, is relationships with your people, taking care of your people. So without the relationships in your team, you don't know everyone, you can't be able to help. If you can create the type of relationship environment where people can come to you with their troubles and with their problems, that's the environment you want to create, so you don't have unknown problems heading forward into a tough situation. So I will hopefully bring out all of these tools back to my residents, to the classroom, and to the greater community of Wake Forest.
But I think there's always room for improvement, and being exposed to all of these incredibly successful people really makes you step back and think like, oh, like there's more I can be doing right now, or I could be doing this a little differently that could be, more productive for myself and also better for others as well. One of the things that we talked about that's like really important is that often it's like the smallest things that you do that make like the biggest impact on people's lives, and especially, and like when I heard that, that really sunk in with me, because I realized that that's very true, and that we can do things if we take the time to be thoughtful and do things for other people that no one really takes the time to do, or they don't often take the time to do, that can make a huge impact on people. So for me, like I thought about how one of the members of the custodial staff in Dogwood, every morning he makes coffee and he invites me to drink coffee with him, and I was like, that's like the highlight of my day a lot of the times, just talking to Ernest and like hearing about his life, because often we get so immersed in our work here at Wake Forest, and we get immersed in like getting a good GPA or getting that great internship, that we forget to do these other things and like connect with people, and that's what I think is like paramount. And also, lastly, I'll say it was a phenomenal like networking opportunity. I got a lot of people's contact information that I think are phenomenal people that will be successful in the future, referencing the students that I met there. and I'm excited to keep in touch with them and continue those relationships in the future. So it was a phenomenal experience.
Character is a key transition into leadership, and the way it was told to us as attendees at this symposium was that you cannot have one without the other. So in order to be a good leader, you have to have good character, and vice versa. So what is leadership? General Selva told us and the attendees that leadership is the ability to motivate others and to find in yourself that ability to motivate, not yourself, but motivate others. So much of the talks that I listened to talked about team and teamwork and the ability to have touch points in others' lives. As a leader, you are the servant. Others do not serve you. As General Selva put it, you don't serve to lead, you lead to serve. This is something that resonated very well with me and really had an impact on the way I think about leadership. So in terms of the military and the armed forces, this servant leader model may, as the speakers alluded to, have to do with first comes the mission, second comes the welfare of your team and your comrades, and third, and lastly, very lastly, comes the welfare of yourself. I wanted to thank the Wake Forest Business School for this wonderful opportunity to be able to attend as a student, not even a cadet or military personnel, to attend the, as they would say, USAFA Symposium for the National Character and Leadership. My experience there was truly amazing in the fact that I gained valuable insight not only on character and leadership, but on other concepts in life, such as time. One of the speakers mentioned and told us stories of how he led 19-year-olds into the battlefield 3 times out of the week, and 3 times in a day they were engaged in battle. And these 19-year-olds didn't know if they were going to come back or not at the end of the day. And as a student, attendee, and as a civilian, this truly resonated with myself in that I come back to what they would call the civilian life here in the business school and at Wake Forest, and I want to tell everyone and all the fellow students how important time really is, to live every single day as it's your last, and to be thankful for all of the opportunities that you have. As one of these speakers said, take these opportunities and make them a responsibility. That is what I ask of you in your leadership at Wake Forest University and beyond.
So I think from my experience, I got to hear so many different various speakers, both military and non-military based, hear their stories, and then also how they related that to leadership and what they learned from it. I think that it related a lot to my business school classes and also specifically my leadership class that I took last semester, because we learned a lot of key terms like getting on the balcony, just keeping that set vision and mission in mind whenever you're going about doing anything, just being always so determined and striving to do the best. Just hearing how these military speakers use that both in the military and others, I think I was really able to apply that to not only their lives but my life as well.
I'm Meredith Gay, and I'm an accounting major here, and I attended the Citadel's annual Principal Leadership Conference in South Carolina, and it was a really good experience for me, especially as I do study business, because one of the main speakers there was the CEO of the AMB group, and so that's the group that manages the Falcons and the MLS soccer team in Atlanta, and he was the previous CEO of Mercedes-Benz, and so he had a really good perspective and a list of key points that we should really hone in on in our business development and especially our leadership development. And so it was good to hear from him a lot of the things that we do here in the business school, but actually from a leader who exhibits that every day. And especially at the Citadel, it was good to hear about the ethics behind the business and that those are very relevant. And it does take someone at the top who is thinking about their employees and those, working for them every day to exhibit those same things that top management is still supporting.
Hi, my name's Jamie Spruce, and I'm a senior accounting major, and I just spent the weekend at the McDonald's Conference for Leaders of Character at the United States Military Academy at West Point. The conference was really focused on how values-based opposition can really invoke change and how people from different backgrounds could challenge each other to find the best solutions to the different challenges The conference was kind of split into 3 different areas. So it was split into how you can solve problems through ethics, through different structures, and through different expressions. So I was part of the ethics group. There were 3 ethics groups, and each group had a senior fellow who was well versed in leadership and how to get people together based on different character aspects. So we got to listen to different panels and learn how different leaders would approach something based on the structure they're in, based on their ethical beliefs, or based on how they would communicate it to the individuals that they were leading. So one of the coolest things for me was to be with so many different people. There was only one person from each military academy or school. So everyone really got to bond quickly because we were really forced into spending time with each other and learning from each other. And that was the best way for me to really see how impactful these people are and how much they've accomplished and inspire me to go out and do different things. So it was really great. I would say it was probably about 60% international students and probably 60 to 70% military students. So people who were very different from me with very different experiences really helped me to learn. And one of my closest friends that I met at the conference was in the Royal Netherlands Military Academy, and just seeing how different his college experience was and the regimented lifestyle and what he aspires to do was really cool for me to kind of realign my priorities and learn from his leadership and how it's different from what I've experienced. Okay. So I would absolutely recommend to anyone given this opportunity to take it and really go in open-minded so that you can learn from it. It was truly life-changing for me and really made me start to think about other opportunities that I could focus on in my future rather than what I've always kind of expected myself to do. So I would recommend doing it, and I encourage Wake Forest to continue sending people to learn because I feel like you'll only come back a better person after going.